Good morning, students. Welcome to my online class. My today's class is also for the students of class 11 and 12. And in my today's class, I am going to talk about your English first paper syllabus. Dear students, actually, this is going to be my first class on your first paper. Earlier, I have taken some classes on your English second paper syllabus, but this is my first appearance before you with your English first paper. As it is my first appearance with this topic, here in this topic, I am going to discuss the introductory matters regarding this subject. I will give an introduction of the syllabus, and here in this class, I am also going to talk about the question pattern, how the questions are set in English first paper. But my dear students, before starting all these topics, I will like to make you acquainted with the textbook that is prescribed by the board. And you can see this is the textbook that you need to study in English first paper. And before discussing the syllabus and the question pattern, I will tell you something about this textbook. Today, English for Today, this is the name of our textbook, and it is prescribed by the board. And the book, is written on a principle of learning a language by practicing it. And this book is written in such a way, and this practice is carried out through the 4 skills of a language, that is speaking, listening, reading, and writing. Actually, to write the book, a communication approach or communication method is maintained. And the book, is divided into different units. Each unit contains some lessons, and in every lesson you will have reading text, and at the same time you will be given some task, and to solve the task you have to work sometime individually and sometimes in pair or in groups. Dear students, actually communication method is emphasized in the design of this book, but that doesn't mean that the necessity of grammar items is not given any importance. That doesn't mean so. Actually, both communicative approach and grammatical technique, both techniques are emphasized in our textbook. And at the same time, in this textbook, you will have some literary topics, and in these literary topics, you will read some poems also. So, this is all about the book. And my dear students, for your better preparation in English first paper, you must read this textbook quite clearly. You have to go through the topics, and these topics deal with very popular themes. These topics are taken from our practical life. So I think you will get much interest on these topics. And for your better preparation, if a student wants to do well in the first paper, he must read this textbook thoroughly. He must go through this textbook between the lines. Unless you have a complete idea about the lessons from this textbook, it will not be possible to get a good result in English first paper. So, my dear students, actually reading of the textbook is going to be very important for your better preparation. And in my today's class, I will also talk about the syllabus that you will have on English first paper. I will also talk about the type of question or the question pattern, marks distribution in this subject. Everything I will discuss in my today's class, and but my dear students, everything I will present on slides. So let's move to slides.
Dear students, here in my opening slide, you can see I am going to talk about your English first paper, and my today's class is an introduction to English first paper. As I have already told you, in this paper, we have to read a textbook that is prescribed by the board, and actually the syllabus on first paper is based on the textbook. And if we go through the types of questions or the question pattern that will be selected in our examination, we will see what type of question we will have to answer in English first paper. And then everything will become quite clear to you, my dear students. So to see the types of question or to learn about the question paper on this subject, I will take you to my next slide. So dear students, let's move to the next slide. Here in this slide, you can see question pattern and marks distribution. You know, in English first paper, we have 100 marks, and these 100 marks is distributed in 2 sections. That means, dear students, English first paper question is divided into 2 parts, part 1 and part 2. In part 1, you will have reading test containing 60 marks, and in part 2, you will have some writing items which will carry 40 marks. So in total, we have 100 marks in English first paper. And now, my dear students, I will analyze each part, that means both part A and part B, that means part 1 and part 2. I'm going to analyze both these parts in my later slides. Dear students, at first I will describe part 1, that based on reading test. So let's move to the next slide to describe part 1. Here in this slide, my dear students, you can see part 1, that is reading test, which carries 60 marks. And in this part, if you look at the type of question that we are going to have, you will see in question number 1, a scene comprehension. A scene comprehension will be given in question number 1. And based on this comprehension, students will have to answer 2 types of question. In number A, answering multiple choice questions containing 5 marks. You will be provided with 5 multiple choice questions, and each will carry 1 mark. And in number B, you have to give some answers of short questions. Actually, you will be given 5 short questions based on the given comprehension, and each question carries 2 marks. So in total, you will have 10 marks in answering short questions. So dear students, in scene comprehension number 1, that means in question number 1, we will have 15 marks in total. And again, my dear students, I would like to remind you this comprehension will be selected from the textbook that is prescribed by the board. And now come to question number 2. And once again, you will have another comprehension from the textbook in question number 2. And based on this comprehension, you may have two types of question, completing table and flowchart. Any one of this type will be selected in the examination. You will have to answer either completing table or flowchart. In completing table, students will have 10 gaps, and these gaps should be completed with the information taken from the given comprehension. And once again, this comprehension will be also selected from the textbook. And if flowchart is selected, in the flowchart, uh, uh, 5 boxes will be provided without any information, and you students will have to provide necessary information as per direction of the question. You will have to give relevant information in the flowchart, and for the flowchart, that means for the 5 information in the 5 boxes, you will get 10 marks. So in question number 2, we'll carry 10 marks. Now come to question number 3. And again, in question number 3, you are going to have another comprehension taken from your textbook. And this time, you may have a passage or a poem. Either a passage will be selected or a poem will be given, and both of them will be selected from your textbook, and then you have to write the summary of the comprehension or the theme of the poem. And this question, or that means question number 3, will again contain 10 marks. So dear students, you can see that in question number 1, 2 and 3 comprehensions will be selected from the textbook, and this also indicates that the reading of the text is very important. Actually, these comprehensions will be selected from the prescribed textbook directly. So you must read the textbook to do well in these 3 sections. Now let's see what type of question we will have in question number 4, 5 and 6. And to see that, let's move to the next slide. And here in this slide, you can see part 1 to continue, and you can see 3 types of question here. Question number 4, 5 and 6. In question number 4, students will have closed test with clue. That means a passage will be given with 10 gaps, and these gaps should be completed with suitable words taken from the box given above the passage. And this is called closed test with clue. That means to complete this passage, to complete the gaps in the passage, some words will be provided in the box above the passage, and each gap will carry 0.5 mark, and in total question number 4 carries 5 marks. And in number 5, that is closed test without clue, here in this question again a passage will be given with 10 gaps, but this time no clue will be provided. Students will have to fill in the gaps with suitable words, and for question number 5, 10 marks is allotted. And my dear students, I would like to remind you that for question number 4 or 5, passages may be selected from the textbook once again, and it also indicates the importance of reading the textbook. My dear students, again and again, I am trying to make you understand the importance of the textbook. You should not avoid reading of the textbook. Rather, you should read this textbook very carefully to do well in the uh, first paper. And dear students, in question number 6, you will have rearranging of sentences. 10 sentences will be given in the question paper, and these sentences are not properly arranged. And you students will rearrange these sentences maintaining proper sequence. And for this question, you will have 10 more marks. So this is all about part 1, and this is the distribution of marks in different types of question. Now I'm going to analyze part 2, where some writing items will be provided. So dear students, let's move to the next slide. Here in this slide, that means in part 2, it consists of writing items, and the part has 40 marks. And this 40 marks is distributed in 5 different writing items. You will have writing paragraph containing 10 marks, completing story 7 marks, writing informal letter or email having 5 marks, describing graph, chart or map 10 marks, and last of all, appreciating short stories or poems 8 marks. Dear students, in paragraph writing, you may have some topics that are chosen from your textbook. So for taking good preparation in paragraph writing, the knowledge of different lessons from your textbook is very important. And again, your textbook is going to be very important even in the case of writing paragraph. In number 8, that is completing story, a story will be given in the question paper which will remain incomplete, and you students have to complete this incomplete story in your own language and using your own imagination. In the question of writing informal letter or email, students will be given 5 marks. And in question number 10, that means describing a graph, chart or a map, 10 marks is allocated. That means a graph or a chart or a map will be given in the question paper, and students will describe the information given in the graph or the chart or the map, and for that they will get 10 marks. And last of all, appreciating short stories or poems, and this time a story or a poem will be selected, and this time poems may be selected from your textbook or from other sources also, and students will have to summarize the story or appreciate the poem, and for that we can see 8 marks is given. So this is how 40 marks in writing is distributed in different categories of writing items, and this is the analysis of English first paper question. And I think you have, my dear students, you have understood how questions are set and how marks are distributed in English first paper. But once again, my dear students, I will make you realize that for doing well in this paper, your study of the textbook is very essential. You can't avoid it. You have to read the text paper again and again, and you must achieve a good control over the lessons that are included in the textbook, and only then you can expect a good grade in English first paper. So dear students, this is all about my today's class. I'm going to close my today's class, and before leaving, I will assure you that very soon I'm going to meet you online and again with a new topic, probably from your first paper syllabus. So, dear students, I am going to close my today's class and hope to meet you very soon with my new lesson. Till then, stay home, stay safe. Thank you.